Good afternoon. I guess my name is Noah, and thank you, because he's done the rest of my speech. Hands up if you've worked or if you're using an omni-channel strategy, wherever you currently are. Okay, there's a few. If you've worked in TV or radio. Okay, so I've got a decent enough crowd. I guess this is where cross-platform measurement comes in, guys. A lot of traditional marketers rely heavily on traditional advertising to get their brand message across. What we would like to do as digital marketers is show them that it's simple and probably more effective to do the very same thing on digital as well. So what we found was that reaching consumers used to be much easier. You could choose, or you design your brand message, right? Know what you want to get across there. Then you have TV, print, and radio. You choose a platform or, mix it up and then send it through. And, just like that, you got it sorted. Not anymore. This is what our marketplace now looks like. The app space, radio, TV, connected devices, virtual reality, and augmented reality as well. And this is essentially how audiences are now consuming content. Now, what if you knew exactly where your audience could be at a specific time? What if you knew what message to get across to your audience on which platform? And also, save a buck while you're at it. What we've noticed is that changing media habits have disrupted the traditional metrics and measurement. So marketers end up asking themselves, what platform do I focus on? How do I reach my consumers? Whereas content owners have different questions. How can I differentiate my audience from the competition? And what's my value add? So with this, we can actually just, by answering these questions, we could solve a clear industry need. But what does this mean for the industry? We need to reconsider how we optimize our budgets. Because as new rands are invested and existing budgets move between TV, radio, print, and the various medias, it's important to ensure you're not losing your reach or overexposing audiences across platforms, because a view on digital and a view on TV is a frequency of 2 and not 1 each. You need to maintain the balance as well, because exposure and budget can only be achieved through holistic measurement with similar metrics across the board. So like Donald said, if we are looking at click-through rates on digital, you unfortunately can't click on anything on a TV. So that can't be comparing apples for apples. So what metrics should we be using? I guess the most important part is to start at the population base. So we know there's 55 million people in South Africa, and the TAMS data, which is the TV audience measurement data, indicates that. So we can apply that same universe to digital. The unique audience we have already on digital, but what if we included that on TV now? So instead of going down to estimates on TV, how about we actually find out who's viewing? The reach percentage, which has always been a TV thing and a radio thing, we did sort of implement it when we started off with digital, and we were reporting on reach, but that's changed over the years. We now have got impressions, and those don't even matter anymore because video views and the likes is what we're looking at. Impressions and exposures, the average frequency as well applies to both. And what happens when you take your frequency and your reach percentage? You get your gross rating points, which are GRPs. So if we were able to measure according to all of these and implement these across digital and above the line, we would have a truly comparable marketplace. And overlay that with an on-target percentage. So I'm going to speak a bit more on on-target percentages later because it's very, very critical. We found that the current digital measurement challenge is that it is activity-based. So the vanity metrics that a few other speakers spoke about here today. You want 1 million video views. You want a click-through rate of 2%. But even after you achieve those targets and those goals, you're still left asking, did my intended target audience see the ad? So will the 1 million video views translate into a sale? Our answer to that is moving from these vanity metrics or activity-based metrics to audience-based metrics. Now, what this would be able to do for us is tell us that for our target audience of females 18 to 24, we have 3 million such people in South Africa. Now, if you reach 1 million of those people, that is 33% of your target audience. Now, these people see it 2.6 times. You multiply your 32% reach with your frequency, and that gives you 83 GRPs. The very same way it would be done for TV, radio, as well as out of home. Truly cross-platform and truly measurable in that way. So in order for you to actually be able to apply cross-platform measurement, you need to have the right tools. Well, I can't speak for other tools because I am a Nielsen representative. I bet some people who've worked in TV would speak of Talmor. I'm sure you've heard of it. But we use a different software titled Ariana. Now, Ariana is able to measure the reach of advertising campaigns across TV and radio, whilst digital ad ratings does pretty much anything online. So if you are viewing on a VR headset that's connected to your Xbox, we would be able to measure that as a connected device. Your smart TV, we'd be able to tell you where your audience is at any given time. If you're viewing on a mobile or even on desktop, we are able to deduplicate your audience across every single digital touch point, which means at the end of the day, it's a truly deduplicated audience view. If you see an ad once on connected device, once on mobile, and once on a desktop, that is a frequency of 3. And the unique audience remains 1. It is not 3 different people. And what this would allow you to be able to do is fuse the two and discover incremental audiences that can't be reached anywhere else. We know that the younger generation is more digital focused than they are TV focused. We know that the older guys generally like to watch ENCA, African Newsroom. So at those given times, your audience is at that place, and that's where you should be as well, not the other place where they're not. So, the 2 tools we spoke about, I'm going to touch briefly on the TV analysis tool and then go in depth on the digital measurement tool, because the TV tool has been done for decades and pretty much everyone else knows what it is. But it's radio and TV audience by frequency, reach, and GRPs. Over and above that, you can use it for planning, such so that on your media schedule, you can promise impressions and deliver them as well. That's what Ariana is. And you could select shows, so you could pretty much tailor-make your campaign using the Ariana planning tool. And on the back of the campaign, you can also use it as a reporting tool to say that I placed an advert on SABC3 during top billing, which is going away right now, but at that time there were 6 million people viewing, but only 1 million of those people fit my demographic of persons 18 to 24. As a result, your reach according to that particular demographic is only 1 million, and so on and so forth. Now, this is the fun part, or the part that I enjoy at least, because I am a very digital savvy person and a digital fundi. So we say Nielsen Digital Ad Ratings is the most trusted tool for online campaign management, and I'm hoping the next few slides actually get to show that. This is what it is.
Here's the dilemma. With so many different ways to reach consumers, how do you know if your digital ad campaign was actually delivered to and seen by your intended audience? Nielsen has the solution. Digital Ad Ratings. Digital Ad Ratings delivers a clear picture of your digital ad campaign's audience across computer and mobile devices in a way that's actionable and comparable to TV. Here's how it works. Your ad gets a Nielsen tag. Millions view your ad. The tags collect exposure information, such as how many times your ad was viewed. This gets combined with anonymized information from the world's largest data providers on who's viewing your ad. The data providers don't know what ad was seen or on what site. Nielson fuses the who with the how many in a privacy-safe way, creating a clear view of your audience by age and gender that's been deduplicated across devices. Delivered daily in an online interface, key metrics such as on-target rate, reach, frequency, and GRP across important campaign parameters help you to identify who you reached. Daily results allow you to understand demographics of the audience viewing your ads, make improvements while campaigns are still running, and apply metrics comparable to other platforms, including TV. All backed by Nielsen's globally recognized expertise in independent audience measurement, ultimately allowing you to improve campaign efficiency, reduce impressions to off-target audiences, and increase marketing ROI. Nielsen Digital Ad Ratings is part of our Total Audience Framework, a suite of solutions providing media owners, advertisers, and agencies with consistent and comparable metrics for content and ads, wherever they're consumed. Find out how digital ad ratings can provide you with a clearer view of your audience.
Awesome. So I guess that's, yeah, got a question, yeah. Yeah.
I think the average household is about maybe, let's say,
3,100.
I'm talking about the house, right?
Yeah, the household sample size.
So now I'm here, my son is watching TV.
Yeah.
So how do you say the age is my age or my son? How do you differentiate that? Because I'm not watching, but it's playing.
Okay, so that's talking a lot into the TAMS data, which I will touch on, even though that's not the focus for today. But how these households are marked up is based on geographical as well as demographic data of pretty much South Africa. So if your son is viewing, even if it's an ad on SuperSport, but you aren't the one who is actually in the house at the moment, what you need to do, what these houses or these panels do, is they sign in with each and every single individual that's in the house. So if you have a 4-person household with yourself, your wife, and 2 kids, each time the TV is turned on, the person who is turning it on signs into their profile, and that's how that data is captured. And that's how we are able to assign demographic information to pretty much everything. Cool. So, yeah, Nielsen Digital Ad Ratings provides a comprehensive and next-day view of your digital audiences across computer, mobile, as well as connected devices. And how we are able to do this, of course, is in the science that we just showed you in the previous slide. We are also able to overlay this with age, gender, as well as reach frequency, GRPs, and viewability information, making it truly comparable with TV. Now, the science, right? It happens in 3 steps. We are able to measure, optimize, and improve because we know who you're reaching and where you're reaching them using industry standard audience data that's been collected over many years, such as, well, as much as Donald has alluded to earlier. We're able to optimize as we work with agency partners and publishers, actually, to analyze the performance of your campaigns and optimize in flight. So that means your campaign is running now, right? You're going to see today's performance tomorrow on the dashboard. But if there's something you don't like on your campaign performance, if it's not reaching the right target audience, for example, you are able to change that element, whether it be the creative, whether it be the budget, or even the publisher themselves. You are able to tweak the system such so that it performs better and the next day results are better and more on target for you. And obviously, as we go about running these campaigns for each and every single brand, we are able to improve the baselines. So that it will start off at a certain percentage, and you'll start seeing what's working. So for my audience of females 18 to 24, they prefer Instagram over Twitter. They prefer Snapchat over Spotify. And as a result, I will know where to place those ads. My audience of males 25 to 40, they prefer short-length video content, and stills don't work for them. So as a result, in future, I won't use stills for that audience. I'd rather just use short-term video content. And at the end of the day, this is what we're able to tell you. So on the on-target audience, in this instance, it's persons 25 to 54. Your campaign has achieved 1 million impressions, right? And Facebook tells you this. There's 1 million impressions. But how many of those impressions actually belong to those people, persons 25 to 54? Your on-target percentage would be 80% if only 800,000 of those people belong to that audience. Therefore, there is wastage of 20%. Now, you need to see where that wastage is happening. Is it a particular piece of creative that has allowed me to deliver off-target impressions? Is it a keyword that I may have used? And then if you are able to change that on the ad server side, you are then able to better your on-target performance and beat the benchmarks, whatever they may be at that specific time. We then give you a read of your demographics by gender, so male, female. There is also unknown or unmeasurable demographic when it comes to this, because as per Poppy, we can't report on persons below the age of 13. So the rules are just that. And even though we do know who it is, who has viewed it on digital, we can't tell any advertiser or any agency that data as it's against the law. So that will fall into an unknown bracket, and you would be able to pick that up as well. And as you optimize in flight, you'd be able to improve that unmeasurable breakout as well, because you would be able to see at what times these people are viewing these ads on which platforms as well, and by optimizing in-flight, change that. And then we obviously give you your cross-device audience. So who viewed your ads on desktop only? Who viewed your ads on mobile only? And who viewed your ads on smart device only? Also, who viewed them across each and every single touch point? And that way we deduplicate such so that you have a granular read of your audiences. Whew, so this is the tough part. This is the part I don't like explaining, right? My team has actually simplified it enough for me to say it's a 5-step process. So what the video is showing you is this 5-step process. So your ad gets a Nielson tag, right? It then goes through to our Nielson server where it gets counted. So we say every single person that sees it is viewed as an impression. So now there's 1 million impressions. We then take those 1 million impressions to Facebook in South Africa because they've got the largest user-volunteered database of information, of demographic information. In China, we would go to Tencent. So wherever we are in the world, we use the largest data provider to verify that data and to validate it, right? It's Facebook. Yeah, they've got the biggest database of user-volunteered information in the country, so that's who we use. So these guys don't get to see what ad is viewed by these people because that too is against the law. Facebook does not get to know who is viewing the ad, but using cookies, they are able to assign an age and a gender to the impression and then pass it off onto our calibration engine. Now, this calibration engine is made up of Nielsen surveys and panels that we run yearly, actually. And these panels determine user behavior according to the various demographics. So for example, we'd be able to tell that although, Donald, I know you don't have a son, maybe you do. You don't have a son, okay. Although Donald was served a Mercedes A-Class ad, it was his son who actually viewed that ad at the time because of the behavior pattern that occurred before that view was implemented. So he had watched the Peppa the Pig video, and before that he was on the Looney Tunes network. And as a result, those behaviors help us determine what the actual age and gender is of that impression. So Facebook would say, hey man, this is Donald's phone. And we're like, is it really? And as a result, be able to correct misattribution from their part as well. And then lastly, this gets fed to you on a dashboard which is readily available to anyone who's got the software at all times and reports to you the very next day. So, what does cross-platform measurement look like in work or at work? What happens when we fuse these two softwares, right, to get this one view of your campaign performance? We had a brand, which is a telco brand, and they wanted to run summer campaigns across various platforms. They tasked Nielson with measuring just the social element or social portion of it, so not even the entire digital portion of it, right? And they wanted to actually see how digital or social was performing against TV. Now, we were able to prove that brand X was actually reaching a similar number of unique users, right, on social media at a fraction of the TV cost. And this is what it looked like. I think this is where you take the pictures, because this is what cross-platform measurement looks like. So through Oriana, we were able to pick up that the investment on TV was 82 million for the period October to February 2018. So October 2017 to February 2018. The reach on TV was 24,717,000 with a reach percentage of 91.2%. On TV, an investment of 1.2 million, a reach of 7.7. So they're smashing us there in terms of the reach number. 24 million versus 7 million, right? And you're thinking, yeah, it was a good call to go with TV. But look at the unique users, guys, the unique audience. 554,000 versus 504,000. So had we measured the YouTube portion of this campaign, we probably would have surpassed the unique audience number on TV at a fraction of the budgets as well. Had we measured the display portion of this campaign, we could have seen exactly what digital did for this campaign when compared to TV. Any questions at this point? Yeah.
No, Ahmed.
Yeah.
Explain to me this. Is this just one brand that you're
This is one brand with a summer campaign that spanned from October to February.
across both TV and social?
And social, yes.
So you're saying this is how TV performed, this is how social performed.
Very true.
So they were unaware of how both performed with a singular view.
It was a well, on digital, it was monitored throughout the course of the campaign, because that's how it works. We can't do post-campaign if you don't implement the tag.
Yeah.
But on TV, it was post-campaign analysis that showcased that they had a crazy-ass frequency, excuse my language.
Which media agent?
Let's not go
Why did
into
they
it.
allow them to spend? That is unethical.
So, yeah, on the back of this data, Brand X decided to take a huge portion of the TV budget from their summer campaigns and put it onto social and run it throughout the entire year as a means of getting more bang for their buck. Now, we are working on a new solution, or rather on bringing a new solution into South Africa. I told you about digital ad ratings in Ariana. There's total ad ratings, which essentially means you don't have to use two different software in order to get that measurement. It's all on one screen, and total ad ratings fuses the two. It's currently in 7 markets around the world and is working pretty amazingly. The only problem is our technology in South Africa isn't up to par as yet in order for us to be able to bring it in as quickly or as rampantly as other territories. But what total ad ratings will be able to do for us in a year or two is pretty much deduplicate your audiences across mobile, computer, connected device, TV, as well as radio. It's currently being trialed on TV only, but with radio, we will also be making inroads in the next few years as well. And essentially, evaluate, allocate, and plan all your campaigns using one tool. So truly cross-platform view on one screen. And what total ad ratings would do is pretty much give you the reach, unique audience, frequency, GRPs, impressions, age, and gender, and let you know how it's split across. I guess I added that slide twice. How that works is by bringing together currency TV data and the best digital measurement solution, which I just spoke to you about, which is digital ad ratings. Now, the fusion there is where we go into the fusion is the audience link, where we go into the deduplication, the weighting, and the reporting all on one screen. And once again, this works on a 24-hour basis. So your campaign performance today is reported tomorrow on a dashboard. And this is for TV, radio, and digital as well. So we say goodbye, vanity metrics, unless your clients still want to keep them, in which case I suggest that you still report on those vanity metrics, as well as the cross-platform or the cross-comparable platform measurements as well. We said earlier on that digital had to move from activity-based metrics to audience-based metrics, and there's 3 simple reasons why. First reason is that audience-based metrics allows you to manage your ad budget, because essentially 50% of your campaign budget that is served to the wrong target audience is 50% of your budget that's wasted. 2, audience-based metrics allows you to optimize in order for you to get more out of your digital ad spend. So we're not only working with the advertisers here, we also work with the publishers to say, look, dude, when compared to this benchmark, you're the only publisher that's actually not hitting the mark. So what can we do in order to help you keep your clients? Because when they see this, they are going to flee the other direction. And 3, audience-based metrics allows you to identify what's working to build best practices. So essentially, you'd be able to identify publishers who meet your on-target demands and add them to a whitelist, or do the opposite. If you've been trying to get Facebook to deliver 80% on target and they are failing to do so, but Twitter is doing the same, you are able to then shift your budgets that way and get more bang for your buck as well. So maximize on your return on investment. Now, we are in 34 countries as digital ad ratings around the world. And total ad ratings, like I said earlier on, is being trialed in 7 territories. The Philippines is very, very similar to South Africa in its audience mix. And if the data sets that are coming from there are anything to go by, this will be an amazing platform to work on here in South Africa as well. That is where my presentation ends. Thank you. Questions? Thank you.